He loves him, and he knows how to play with his mind.
Right.
I'm just not sure the body is nearly as willing as it was at age 31.
Correct.
Okay, so into the lineup goes Iggy. And what happens to LeBron in Game 4 in his house? This is a chance to go up 3-1, an imposing, commanding lead in the NBA Finals, right? LeBron goes from averaging 41 in the first 3 to scoring only 20 in Game 4. He shot 7 of 22. Iggy is all over him. He's got him wall-to-wall, end-to-end. Scores 27 of 22, 1 of 4 from 3, and fell completely off at the free throw line, discombobulated, made 5 of 10.
Okay.
Iggy outscored him. It was 22 for Iggy to 20 for LeBron. Iggy added 8 rebounds. He made 8 of 15 shots, 4 3-point shots out of 9. That's a game. That changed this finals. Again, is Iggy going to change it tonight? I'm going to seriously doubt that. But all of a sudden, the script got completely flipped. Okay, now here's the other irony to Clay's comment about I'm feeling that big 2015 vibe. When they took the series over for games 4, 5, and 6, all of which they obviously won to close them out in 6 games, it wasn't Clay who did the damage. Clay averaged 9 points a game in the next 3 games, so he wasn't doing much of it. He was 3 of 12 from 3 over the next 3 games, so he was kind of along for the ride.
Right.
Steph finally bounced back, and Steph averaged 28, 5, and 6 and shot 45% from 3 over the next 3 games after he was 32% in the first 3 games.
That's why everybody was shocked. He didn't win Finals MVP considering that.
But Iggy was the turning point. And if you look at what Iggy did over the stretch of just the defense he played on LeBron in games 4, 5, and 6, LeBron James missed an average of 18 shots a game in 4, 5, and 6. It's a lot of shots to miss because he went a grand total of 35 of 89. It was only 39% that he shot from the floor. So the voters are giving Iggy the defensive MVP award, basically, because other than that, he didn't do that much. I think he was 15, 8, and 8 over the last 3 games that he started. But the defense turned it around because LeBron went from averaging 41 to missing 18 shots a game because suddenly he got defended at the highest level.
Right.
All right?
But that's a lot of wear and tear, Skip, to have to shoot that many shots when there's really no one else that you can really count on to give you those kind of shots. You got Kyrie, you can divvy it up. Kevin Love was still trying to find himself there because that was his first, if I'm not mistaken, that was his first year in Cleveland. And so you had JR, you had some of the guys like that, Skip. There was no one else to count on. And he finally wore down, having to play defense, having to deal with Iggy, because like you said, he probably had the ball in his hand 50% of the time. You said 40, it might have been 50.
The actual stat was 40%, which is, trust me,
crazy.
It's just crazy. It's crazy numbers. What other help did Golden State have? Did Steph get in 4, 5, and 6? Well, Draymond was pretty good because in 4 he got 17 and 6, and in Game 5 he was 16, 9, and 6. So he was at his peak also. And don't forget they had Harrison Barnes. It's pretty good. And he gave them 14 and 8 in Game 4, and then he gave them 8 and 10 rebounds in Game 5. And then in Game 6 they got big contributions off the bench from Sean Livingston. Remember him? And my man from Vanderbilt University, Festus Ezeli, gave him 10 big points off the bench in Game 6, the closeout game. So there's a lot going on in there that doesn't appear to be going on or potentially going on now. Right?
And that's my point, Skip, is that you look at what transpired then, but also you said, okay, they got contribution from this guy and that guy, and they could well get contributions from a pool. They could well get contributions from an Otto Porter. But that means you're going to have to remove 2 of the 3 best players from the Boston Celtics in order for it to be a similar situation. Because if you don't, and now you got Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown basically 23 and 22 points a game, and you got Marcus Smart giving you somewhere around 14 points a game. Well, it's a whole different situation.
Yet, and still, Clay is correct in the fact that there's no LeBron on the other side because, there's a Jason Tatum and there's definitely a Jaylen Brown. But are they LeBron James of 2015? They are not.
No, and that goes to show you one man's not going to be the team, but a good team is going to be the good team, and I believe that's what Boston is. Boston is a very good team. Majority of the time, Skip, they play very sound defense. Sometimes, they forget that that's Steph Curry and you can't drop coverage. You got the show on him. But other than that, I think that's the thing. man, we down 0-2. They realize Boston is different. Skip, Cleveland couldn't play defense like Boston could. They don't have a rim protector like Robert Williams. You remember Steph tried that little floater and Robert Williams threw it 2 rows up?
Well, it was just silly. It was a silly idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
So this is a much better defensive team, and they have more. Obviously, there is no LeBron James. But when you add a Jason Tatum and a Jaylen Brown and a Marcus Smart and the Horford and the collection of guys that they have, they're a better team. They don't have a better player, but they're a better team. And that's what Klay is up against. This is a much better team than what you went against in 2015 that ultimately you were down 2-1 and you came back. That's not to say they can't, but I believe this is a much more daunting task to do it this time around.
Okay. And yet, I hark back to a comment you made a couple of minutes ago. You said Steph has played great so far in these finals. I haven't seen great from him. I've seen 2 flurries in the third quarter. He's been third quarter Steph Curry. But in game 1, I'm going to remind you, down the stretch, he made a 2-point shot that gave them a 3-point lead. 3-point lead in game 1 with 6:05 remaining. Down the stretch, he actually took 3 shots. One was just when the game was completely out of hand, but he missed 2 key shots. With 5:23, he had a 10-footer to put them up 2, and he missed it. And then he had a 3 with 3:55 left to cut it to 3, and he missed that one. Then he missed another one at 1:35. It was over. He didn't score another point for the last 6:05. Celtics go on a 20-5 run in Steph's house in game 1 to take the series over to me. And then if you look at the 2 fourth quarters, he didn't play the fourth quarter of game 2, but the 2 fourth quarters that Steph has played so far in games 1 and the third game in Boston, he's scored a grand total of 6 points on 3 of 10 from the floor, and he's missed all 3 of his 3-point shots in 2 fourth quarters in which the game was winnable.
Well, I think what they're going to have to do is that they're going to have to adjust his minutes, and you're going to have to, move some things around, Skip, because you can't start him on the bench. Because in starting him on the bench, he kind of gets out of his rhythm. Skip, I would say, Steph, I need you to give me at least 4 minutes of the fourth quarter, and I'll get you a blow if I can. Because I want him to try to blow this thing open, Skip. He had 14 in the third, game 1. He had 15 in the third in game 3. So, Skip, I want to try to build. I'm going to try to keep that hot hand going as long as I can. And Steph, if I can steal you a minute, if I can steal you 2 minutes in the fourth, I'm going to do that.
Because his plus-minus in the 2 fourth quarters he's played, both losses, is a -30. With Steph Curry on the floor, they've been a -30.
Why? What are they doing?
And, what do you mean?
They're attacking him.
Okay, you got it. They're attacking him on defense because he has become, at an advanced age at 34, he is a defensive liability.
Yes.
And he became an offensive liability early in the fourth quarter of game 3 because I showed you the other day, he turns it over 3 quick times at 10:41, 9:29, and 9:19. That's a span of 1 minute and 22 seconds. He throws 3 straight bad passes that are turned over and that go the other way.
Yes.
Well, you can't. You're at their place, you're going to lose.
Right.
So tonight, he's going to, if they have any prayer, he's got to have a fourth quarter.
Right.
And obviously, Klay's going to have to be a whole lot better than he was in the fourth quarter when he missed all 3 of his shots.
You're right. He's going to have to. Steph is going to have to be better in the fourth, but you better hope that Klay can give you what he gave you the last game, which is 25 points, because there's not hasn't been a whole lot of games in the playoffs in which Klay's giving you 25 points. So he's going to have to give. You're going to have to hope Steph probably going to need to go for 40 plus, Skip.
Yep.
Because you mentioned he's averaging 35 and he's not really giving you anything in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
So let's just say, for the sake of argument, conservatively, he gives you 6 to 8 with that 38. He's going to be high 30s, maybe even 40 for you to have a chance. Now, but we know Boston, Skip. What normally happens, Skip, at home? They lost 4 games at home in the playoffs. When the series in Milwaukee, it should have been over. It should have never gone 7. It should have never gone 7 against Miami. But they spit the bit. They turned the ball over. They're like, oh, this team's dead. We got them dead to right. They're going to roll over. And next thing you know, you find yourself down 20, and now you got to fight uphill for the rest of the ball game.
Okay.
They come out and play tonight. They need to turn the lights out on the Warriors.
And they should be able to do just that. Yet I will throw this last point at you. In rock, paper, scissors, paper can cover rock. Okay?
Yes.
Finesse can beat force only one way. There's a new way to do it in the new NBA. The great equalizer is the 3-point shot.
You got to make the 3.
It's as simple as that, because Steph has limitless range.
Right.
Clay can have pretty limitless range himself. They have to be hot-handed. They're going to have to rain threes. They're going to have, again, in the 2 closeout games this year, Clay had 8 and 8 threes.
Right.
He's going to have to make 8 threes.
Right.
And Steph's going to have to be right there with him with 8 or 9 threes.
Well, he's averaging 6 a game.
Okay, I got it, but he's going to have to up the ante.
Okay.
They're going. He needs to go 8, 9, 10, and 8 from. If you could get even 8 and 8 from those two, you would have a shot.
Oh,
tonight.
yeah.
It's the great equalizer because it turns down the noise.
Yes.
That's what it does.
So in other words, you're saying in order for the Celtics to have an opportunity to win, you think they're going to need to be somewhere between 18 and 22 threes?
Absolutely. I think you got to go 20. You're going to have to get Jordan Poole along for the ride. You're going to have to get them all hot-handed.
Yeah. Otto Porter can make some. Wiggins
here and there. Yep, that's what you're going to have to do. Like game 1, Celtics made 21 of 41.
Right.
You're going to have to do something like that because that's the only way. Because Rock can just crush paper.
Right.
If you let them play in the paint,
right.
you know what happened in the last game. It was a complete mismatch.
Boston doesn't turn it over. It's a really simple stat. When they get 15 or fewer turnovers, when they turn the ball over 15 or fewer times, they're 13-2. Jason Tatum has more assists than turnovers. They're unbeatable. When he has more turnovers than assists, they become very beatable.